Sweet, it's recording. Awesome. All right. Hey, everyone, and welcome to the Laundry Gurus podcast. I'm your host, V, and this is my co host, Jim Law. What's going on, guys?
I'm good, man. How are you? I can't
Good,
believe we're
good.
doing it. I can't believe you're doing
I
this.
know, I know. We talked about it, and now we're live. I am not in a normal office setting. I'm borrowing my cousin's office today at his jewelry store, hence all the stuff behind me. So this isn't going to be the typical background, but just want to throw that out there.
Love it.
So what are we doing, Jim? What are we going to talk about? How are we going to help everyone? What's the point of this podcast?
You know, I watched your TikTok, and I watched a very angry man, and that very angry man was talking about the laundromat space. And you know, I've now known you for a couple years, and I love what you said there. And I guess in our conversations, the ability to come back and to do something that is based on the real, and to be real about what it means to run a laundromat. And you know, I mean, I think we should start off with your background and, you know, why is your opinion valuable, or why are we here? What's your source of content? Where does your wisdom come from?
Well, Jim, you know, I own, as you know, I've owned 5 laundromats in my 15-year tenure in this industry. I've been blessed to have gone into the laundromat game business early on. I started exactly 15 years ago, and over the years, I've tested and tried many different things in this industry. So everything that we put out on this channel is going to be data driven. And the way we get this data is obviously through multiple ways. First, experience, obviously. Second is, you know, systems we have in place in our stores. You know, we have a credit card and we have ways to we have credit card systems in our stores now. And that helps us bring in data and understand, you know, which area demands more technology, which areas don't demand technology, and you know, we're not gonna, this channel is not gonna be about flaunting, you know, stacks of 1s, 5s, 10s, and 20s in your face, going like, hey, what's up, guys? This is my laundromat. You know, this is how much money I made today, without talking about all the other stuff in how to run a successful laundromat and what helps us make the decisions inside of our laundromats. And it's not just, you know, for followers or, you know, TikTok clicks and likes. That's not why we do it. And the reason why you brought up that TikTok, I was angry because every other swipe, it was like, hey, buy my course. It's $1,000. And guess what? You're going to learn everything in 30 days. I guarantee you're going to own a laundromat. It's like, no, man, that's not how it works. You know, I've been doing it 15 years. Yeah, I've owned 5 stores. I own 4 currently. I sold one. But dude, it took me that long for a reason. It's not an overnight thing. It takes time. And, you know, that's why we have the data to kind of prove it to everyone. And I think that's why this is going to be a really important channel for people to follow and subscribe and like and make sure other people know about it. So, you know, everyone's getting correct information. And you, Jim, as well, you know, you're not some chump change over here. You know, you've had a lot of experience dealing with multiple owners in all of the United States, you know, being the VP of sales at the Laundry Boss. You know, you really got your shit together, or you got your stuff together. And I think that's extremely valuable and provides a lot of in-depth information for our viewers and listeners.
Well, I definitely hope I can provide some value along the way. But V, I think it's important. You talked about the fact that you've been doing this for 15 years and you're not an old man, V. So that by my calculations, you're 35 years old, right?
Yeah, I'm about to be 35. I bought my first store when I was in college. It was the summer going into my sophomore year. I graduated high school in 2009, and then I was going that summer of 2010. I was going into my sophomore year, and it just a store that was beat up, tired, 20-year-old, 25-year-old dryers and ancient washers just stumbled in my lap, and I sold whatever little stocks I had and used that as a down payment and bought the store, or not a down payment. I bought the store, and I kind of went from there.
I will tell you, I from my very first interaction with you, um, I'm very, very happy that I get to do this with you, because I look at what you've done, and it's not a lot of talking, but it's a whole lot of doing.
Thank you.
You know, for where I'm at, I deal with all sorts of laundromat owners, and I think one of the greatest uh, challenges I see a lot of laundromat owners have is they own a job, but they don't own a business. Or excuse me, I should say that differently. They bought the business so they could own the job.
Yeah,
And
they bought themselves a job.
that's what they did. And they traded one boss in for whatever number of hundreds of customers they have. And when I look at the business that you've built, and you've done it just naturally, you focus on process. And that really, I mean, you have just done, I'm truly jealous. You've built a really fine business, and it continues to grow. And, you know, that's part of, if I look at the experience that you may be 35, but with 15 years worth of experience, there's depth there. And, you know, this is our inaugural episode. And, you know, we had a conversation, we were kicking around the topics. And so I'll just kick it out there so we can start to dig into this thing. And, you know, in our space, you know, where I'm at, we talk about, you know, payment systems, but, you know, I always talk about automation and payment systems. You know, automation first, data-driven decisions, as you said. But there's, in this space, this discussion about coin being dead. And, you know, I think there's not probably anybody better to handle this, because, hey, I'm not 35. I'm 57. I'm more at the other end of the scale. And here you are, a 35-year-old man, but with 15 years worth of experience and 5 laundromats under your belt. And I truly want to hear your perspective on, is coin dead?
Honestly, I'm so happy this is going to be the topic of today. You know, title being "Is Coin Dead?" And you know, the last 15 years I've been doing this. All my stores, except for the one that I sold, were all coin vended. The one that I sold had an ESD card system. Everything else has been coin vend from day one, and was only coin vend. And then finally one day I started doing some research, and I was like, okay, you know, what's the right move? What's the right play? And do I go coin vend and then some kind of hybrid system, or do I pull out coin and just go all card system? And really, you know, I just sat back and started thinking, you know, why not only card system? And then I think the answer to that question was just get to know my customers. I spent time in the stores, and I started spending time, and I'm so against that. I don't like spending time in my own stores. I mean, I spend the time, but I'm not there shooting the shit. I don't like people knowing my business. I'm very in and out. I go there after hours or before we open and kind of do a lot of my stuff. And there was a laundry list of reasons to not remove the coin vend. And one of them is a lot of my customers. I'm based in Southern California. You know that, but now the audience does too. I'm based in Southern California, in Los Angeles and Orange counties. And a lot of my customers are illegals. You know, whatever your political view is, it doesn't matter. It's a customer is a customer, and you need to appease to all of them. You know, if I take away a payment method, what does that do? I'm taking something away from myself. Yes, I get it. It's annoying. You got to go in there, open it, dump it. A lot of my customers are illegal. They earn money. They earn money under the table. They earn cash. They don't have debit cards. They don't have credit cards. And then I realized some people love their piggy banks. I realized, I'm like, oh, I always notice you ma'am or sir, I always notice you bring in your own quarters. Like, where do you have so many? You know what, son? Every time I got home from, the market, I would drop it in a piggy bank. And now I got a piggy bank the size of whatever filled with coins. And I love coming here because I get to use all of them. And I feel like I'm doing my laundry for free because I've accumulated this over the years. Why am I going to leave that money on the table? I need those quarters. I need quarters all the time. So the loose change aspect of it. Then there's the whole anonymous factor. People like to be anonymous. I mean, we grew up in an anonymous age, and then now we're in the data age, and people love to get as much data. We don't have any more privacy, you and I. Everything is online, everything is this, everything is that. Sometimes people just they don't want to scan their card. They don't want to use their Apple Pay or Google Pay or Samsung Pay. Like it's really unfortunate what happened to privacy. It's gone, but some people appreciate that still. And a lot of our customers come in and use it. And I have all the data now because I did switch to a hybrid system. I have all the data to prove it. People still love coin. At one of my locations, which has the highest card use, I'm at 40% credit card use. 60% of my customers are still coin. And that's my highest card use store. My other one's 20%, the other one's at about 10% right now. One of them, I still haven't even rigged up Laundry Boss there yet, but I am going to do that soon.
I remember meeting you. And in our first meeting, I think I hit a chord with you. Because what I say to everybody is that you don't take away ways to pay, you only add ways to pay. More ways to pay equals more revenue.
You did strike a chord with me on that, 1,000%.
So another thing we talked about in Laundry Gurus is that you're going to actually allow us to look at your data.
100%.
You're going to allow us to take a look at your data. So we're going to start to get into these things and use data to show how we're making decisions.
100%.
I truly believe that's the greatest key. And we're going to have a tagline around here. And what's our tagline?
You tell me, Jim. You're the creator.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. That's a V line, right?
100%.
That's a V line. You get to that place, you make that decision, and then V says, let's do it. Go ahead, say it again.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, right? Just the way the V says it.
100%. And that's what I said whenever you and I, first spoke on the phone, and I decided that, the right direction for us would be to go that hybrid system. And you told me about all the different ways the customer can pay, and you're adding essentially 3 new payment methods for your customer. I was like, what? And which I was like, I was mind boggled for a moment, but we did our best numbers we have ever done last year, ever since the introduction of these payment systems in our stores. And I have the data to prove it. My deposits went up. My income went up. At first I was confused. I'm like, wait, what? Same amount of cash. My bank account's going up faster. And then I realized the direct deposits started hitting,
Right.
And my first month with the card system, I was at 4.5%, 5%, something ridiculously low. I was like, dang, did I make a mistake? Am I doing something wrong? Should I have not done this? Like, should I have, I started second guessing myself. Then the next month we're at 6.5, then 8, then 9. I'm at that store, which we installed March, I want to say, of last year. We are officially at 20% adoption rate, 20. And that took a year and 4 months, 5 months, something like that.
The interesting thing is what people don't realize is time drives adoption. The sooner that you automate the system and implement the system, the faster that process begins. We have hundreds of laundromats that we count as clients, but there's one that I call Patient Zero that's been with us for 8 years. 8 years. This store does at least over $500,000 a year. And if I asked you that at 8 years with us and what they do in coin, what would you think that number is? If you had to take a guess, what do you think the number is?
Obviously, it depends on demographics and location and all that stuff factored in. But I would say, I mean, given how fast my adoption is going, a year, 20%, maybe they're at 60%, 80%. I don't know exactly.
They're at 4% coin.
4%.
4%. After 8 years, they're down to only 4%. Now, they have coin acceptors. They have coin boxes on every washer and dryer in the store, but people are choosing other ways to pay. But we never force people to go and to make a decision. They decide. We don't decide.
Yeah.
And we were preparing for this discussion, and I love the we talked about all the different reasons why coin, and you brought up a great example last year. And there's lots of different vendors out here, and of course, being internet-based technology, there's the potential for downtime from our infrastructure. And you stopped me, and you said, Jim, I had X number of days that I was down because of my internet service provider.
Just because of out here, we have Charter Spectrum, or they're not Charter anymore. It's called Spectrum now. I think I had 9 or 10 days throughout last year. We got hit with a heat wave. Then we had the fires and the winds. That knocked us out. Then we had, I can't remember what happened. Then they just had a service issue in the area. So I had 9 days without internet, if you add it all up throughout the year. So I was like, what am I going to do for those 9 days? What am I going to, if I'm card only or internet only, how am I going to serve these people? 9 days of business. If those 9 days were Sundays and they're at my best store, that's $3,000 a day. You do the math.
Right.
At 10 days, that's 30 grand. I would have lost out on $30,000 of the business if I didn't accept coin. If you're only internet based. So I think it's really important to be a hybrid store. You want to offer as many methods as possible. And the one thing that I loved about the Laundry Boss, and I love till this day, is how many different payment methods you add by adding one system. You add this, and I didn't make this podcast to toot Laundry Boss's horn or talk crap about the other, whatever. I use it. I like it. And that's why I'm telling you guys, I'm not saying that your system or someone else's system is better or whatever. But what I am going to say is now my customers walk in, they can pay at my kiosk with cash. They just literally put in cash. They put in machine number 22. They put a $10 bill in, let's say, and it was $7 for that wash. It spits out $3 in quarters and it pings the machine to start. Or if they want, they just use it as a regular change machine. Put in 10, get 10. The Hispanic community, that community loves a one-for-one transaction. They love getting their value back. They love seeing it, at least. That's my experience. So whenever, then another option, which I love, at the kiosk, you put in the machine number and you tap to pay or swipe your card, whatever you want to do, and you start the washer there. Then the cherry on top, the creme de la creme. The thing that made me fall in love was the app. I mean, the amount of stuff we could do with this app, the push notifications I send out, the loyalty points I add that automatically get added based on use, that I do all on the back end, thanks to you guys. You guys taught me how to do everything. Dude, it was phenomenal. And other payment systems I've seen, like I used to own a store with only ESD, no coin. And whenever the VTM, which is like the main hub where everyone loads their cards up, if that goes down, that's it. You're done. You're not making a penny. The cards themselves, the loyalty cards, those cost money. They're not cheap. At the time, it was $1.08, $1.09. This is 2017, 18. Now I heard rumors. I don't know, but I heard rumors it's at $3, $4 a card. Who's eating that cost? I am. What if some Joe Schmo's, just a passerby, comes in, wants to do laundry at my store, buys that card or gets the card for free and loads $5 on it, does a $4 wash, a 50-cent dry, he has 50 cents left on the card, asks for it back. You just lost all the utilities on that machine and you lost $4 on that card, unless you charge them for it. And if you charge them for it, now they're pissed, they're angry, they're not happy. They don't like it because they have to pay for that card. And over there, what I did was, all right, I'm like, okay, let me meet him halfway. I would charge him $2 for the card, and I would give him $1 back via credit if they signed up for the loyalty or whatever program. That way I got data from it. But still, they still had to pay that $2. I would give them one back. And it was just holding up the machine. Everyone's putting in all their info. It was just not responsive. Sometimes it would freeze. Why are we going to do that? Those NFC cards or even the swipe cards, they cost an arm and a leg, and then there's a reader attached to it. You got to buy those readers, and then those readers go bad. I mean, you're surrounded by the trifecta: water, lint, and heat. These three things: water, lint, and heat. I don't care what.
And vibration. And vibration.
And vibration. I don't care what kind of fireproof, bulletproof thing you use. Water, moisture, heat, and lint is going to get inside that thing, and it's going to bust it right up. It could take a week, a year, 2 years, doesn't matter. Eventually that thing is going to break, and you're at their mercy. You're at that distributor's mercy, and it ties your hand. And there's a lot of different distributors out there. There's really good ones, there's really bad ones. I mean, from my experience, again, to other people it might work, but if you have 1 store, 2 stores, 3 stores, 4 stores, you have enough time to collect. You have time to get to those stores. Unless you're trying to do this on the back burner, and there's no such thing as a complete absentee run business. There's no such thing. And those courses complete, what they are.
Yeah. V, I think back to the start where we started with you. And I think the greatest part is that this has truly been a relationship, right? It's been a relationship. It's not just a transaction. I draw differentiations between customers and clients, and you are a client. And, when I see how you run your business and when I see the success, I just want to tip my hat to you. And again, that is you as a friend, but it's also you as a business owner. I told you, and I was encouraging you to do this because you're also great TV.
Thank you, man.
because you tell the truth, right? V tells the truth. And this is just the first episode. And I think we're at probably the end of discussing and I think you did a great job. If you want to summarize for us again, the why coin and the headline news that coin is dead. Why that's not true.
It's not, Jim. And I don't like you gave this analogy, so I'm not taking credit for it, but the Gillette razors.
Right.
A phenomenal analogy. They give you the razor for like $1, but how much are those razors?
Blades.
The blades, man. Those blades are an arm and a leg. Sometimes they buy the blades and get the razor free. Get the hand, like that handle. What is that? It's cheap plastic. What is it? It's just a little heavy. So the same idea with a full card system, in my opinion. You go in there and you buy that loyalty card. Okay, it's $1, but now you're stuck. I mean, you got to keep, and now you got another card in your wallet. You have a floating balance in that card at all times, and customers hate that, especially in I don't want to use the word depressed, but let's say a more, not less affluent area. These people, every cent counts, every dollar counts. Whenever they get that 1-for-1, and I'm still getting data, by the way. If they use our app, I'm getting all that data. It's beautiful. It's not like I'm missing out on something because of it. But, to recap, coin is not dead. We need it. As long as the U.S. Mint is striking those suckers, I don't think coin is dead. It's ease of use. People love it. People with loose change around the house, or they want to be anonymous, or your customer base, there's a group of illegals, they earn cash earners. A lot of times if I earn cash doing something, sometimes you want to use cash. I'm not going to put everything in the bank and then, no, we're human. Let's say I sold something on Facebook Marketplace. I sold my old iPhone on Facebook Marketplace. Someone paid me $500 cash for it. What am I going to do with that cash? I had already paid the tax when I bought it. I'm not going to pay the tax for the sales tax on it. Whatever. I'll use it. You know, so I think it's just very easy to use. And I think the key point here is don't take away ways for customers to pay. Let them pay you however they want to pay. Add more options, you know, and with you guys, with the power of and technology that you guys gave me and the tools you gave me, I do promotions, loyalty. Everyone has a wallet. I have all the data, and now I have 4 payment methods essentially. They pay with the app, they pay with coins, they pay with cash, or they pay with or what was the last one? I forgot.
We have
Oh,
coins,
the
bills,
kiosk with
right?
the Face ID.
Yeah. You know what? I think you did a great job summarizing it there. And what I think we should promise the audience is that how long has your system been in?
Oh man, I have one. I have March of last year. I have the one that we installed this year in April, and then I have the one that I bought that had your system in.
Right. Yeah.
That one has 5 or 6 years of data. I think 5 years of data we can use from the previous guy too. I've
Yeah.
only owned it for a year and some change, but we have his data too, and we can see the trends and the usage. And I mean, there's a plethora of data on there, and that area is very good because it's got a little bit of everything, right? It's got a
Right.
little bit of more affluent that come in for the fluff and fold. I got the, you know, illegal situation. I got this, I got that. So we're gonna have a really good show for everyone, and I know we're gonna provide value. You know, and if our listeners get value from this, you know, just give us one of these. You know, maybe subscribe, hit the bell whenever we post. You'll get the notification.
I think that's a great place to leave it. And again, I thank you for doing this. I really enjoyed it. We talked about the fact that this thing was going to need to be edited, and I don't think it does.
I don't think so either. I'm just gonna
The
add
post.
our logo and post it.
So what do we end with?
Just do.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I love it, Jim. I love
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you, and I'll see you guys next week.
Let's do another one.
We'll do it. All
See you,
right,
bro.
Jim.
Take care.
Bye now.